Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Everything Meta, episode 29. And we are joined, as always, by Joey. Joey, thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm solid. How are you, Ken?
I'm doing well, Joey. So, obviously, we set out every week in some attempt to get people, keep people informed with what's going on, either uh, in the crypto space in general, and DeSci around Yash in particular, the Science Down in particular. And so we are working very hard to put together a platform. And I wanted to try to talk to the community a bit about why they would want to be maybe a little bit more active on the YouTube and other podcast space for the channel, some incentives for the community, that not just short term, but long term incentives. And I'm looking for your feedback on them. The first one I have today, as we queue it up, we could attract more buyers and interest in general if we had a platform to which thousands of people were subscribed and our videos ranked highly on platforms like YouTube and were then recommended to other folks in the crypto community. What do you think?
I mean, yeah. The greater the reach, right? The stronger your reach is. Maybe the more people that you could find. But really, it's not about attracting more buyers, right? It's actually about giving people that might be interested in this type of platform first contact, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of projects in the space that operate. I believe I did this last night actually because I saw a shitcoin launch with the name, but the Greater Fool's Theory. That somebody, regardless of investing fundamentals or project fundamentals, utility fundamentals, the whole idea is that the only reason you buy something is because somebody else is the greater fool and will come in and buy after you, right?
Yeah.
Which we're not like that. So
Right.
I
Right.
think
Right.
that there's a lot of things that are going on in several of these projects. There's some things that people have never been able to experience before, and in several of these projects. So it's more about exposing people that might not have come into contact, exposing them to some of these projects. And if it's their cup of tea, it's their cup of tea, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
But
so,
yeah, we need to subscribe.
yeah. Subscribe,
Yeah.
share. I mean, maybe it's in a different order. If we think about a general kind of marketing funnel, if you will, you create the awareness, and then some people will buy, but we at least are in a better position if we're letting other people know what it is we're doing, whether they become buyers, investors, members, participants, whatever word we're looking for, but to just make sure that we're creating that awareness and maybe even helping to contribute to the education piece.
Yeah. I mean, we had it at some point, like bearish trends in the market or poor performance. Like obviously when everything is performing really well, right? You get a lot of really enthusiastic people. So in the past, maybe we would have had, 5,000 subscribers or something.
Right.
The thing is there's a lot of projects out there. There's a lot of, groups and whatnot that are, you know, maybe perhaps what's the word? Not envious. Um, they want what a lot of the Yasha people have, right?
Mm.
It's a really good thing, right? Normally it's all these insider groups, people that are very deep in DeFi, that get early things that are able to enjoy gains, and people that get into some sort of group. At Yasha, it's like completely normal people that really don't know the ins and outs. And along the way, over the last year, the community, the rest of the dev team, has done a really good job of educating people and bringing them up right over time.
Yep.
So
Cool. So moving on to number two, I argue that new projects would be incentivized to launch on the platform if we had a big marketing reach. And then not only would they want to come over, but they can use their resources in other ways to reallocate some of what would be, hiring folks for YouTube videos and such to do maybe more some other innovative ways of generating a followership if they were on our platform and they knew that we had a marketing machine that was already working.
Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of incubators out there that have like some marketing, type of thing that they sort of offer. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah, definitely it's the next evolution. We're a year old, so we're very new. Right. Hopefully, solid performance moving into the future. Right. Um, I'm happy to say that the last pre TGE organization with Flash, I actually did not do anything for the first time. I was like, you know what, Hawk, you handle this one. Everybody handled it. Tim Tam T, everybody, and it was awesome because that's the way that it should be. You're trying to make a DAO, right? Like everybody came together to make a DAO where it would function autonomously. So there has to be a point, right, where like some type of central leadership or um, whatever it is not needed, right? It should function autonomously. And so I was really happy to see that that it obviously the market didn't line up with Flash Team and whatnot, so it kind of is what it is. And you can't control what you can't control, but
Right.
um yeah, I didn't do anything. It happened all by itself, which was cool.
Yeah. Yep. So let's think of incentive three. This I think is major. It's proceeds from, and I'm maybe if I've not made the point, I'm recommending that this be that. So proceeds from a show like Everything Meta can be used to buy and burn when possible tokens from projects covered on the platform. So we can vote as a community. If the channel makes money, we have an income stream we can use, kind of like another way to help increase the value of some of the projects that we are otherwise invested in or part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that would be cool as long as we can legally do that and whatnot.
Mm.
Then I think we're good to go. I think that would be awesome because I don't know if this platform generates any money, and if it did, it'd be cool.
It doesn't now, but this is the point. We're trying to.
I was like, damn, how many views? I've been away for a week. I don't know how many views. I can't imagine that one of these ultra long format, things where our faces are just super huge in the camera and we ramble on for an hour straight. Like, imagine one of those getting really big, right?
Yeah. And so like the kind of next step of that is in a market like this, maybe it's easier to lean on new content that we're consuming as a community, again with the exception that you're making, obviously assuming that this is legal to do so, to generate a revenue stream from simply creating and consuming that content and reinvesting or reallocating those funds back into projects. Good kind of bear market proof ways to make some money.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure. As long as we're able to do it, then I'm down.
With the
Market's
caveat, you got to be
man.
able. Yeah.
I like the way the market's looking.
I think you're an eternal optimist, Joey.
Yeah.
Good, bad, sideways, upside down.
But I think the market looks pretty good. On chain, it looks like crap. Like on chain looks like crap. The only thing working right now is like scam LARPs and insider pumps, and It's like it's pretty ridiculous. Like people out there trying to make really solid, cool projects. Zero, Wonky, the Zero dev, working super hard trying to do something really nice, and I think it'll have its time. I think it'll have its time. But yeah, you get a bunch of people together and you can launch a scam LARP, and have people go crazy, have a bunch of gamblers go crazy, right? And keep buying.
Yeah.
The greater fool, right? Seeking that greater fool. Looks like Ken has family business. Okay. Yeah.
Man. This full disclosure, we're recording the show later than normal, and I have the some interruptions from alarms telling me don't forget to go get your kids. So I have to go get my kids in a little while. Yeah, so moving forward. So we could effectively, hypothetically, moon projects from active and passive watching of content. We create enough content, you get enough people to watch it, you monetize that content, and there's additional income. That's just kind of a part B to point number 3. Point number 4, we can keep this platform in the community by passing it down from content creator to content creator as people move on to do other things. I've learned to love being here, providing information. I don't intend to do it forever. Can I do it for a year? Can I do it for 2? Sure. Whatever. But, eventually, this platform should outlive my and or your willingness to be on it. And we can certainly put a process in place to make sure the content that's been built over time and all of the proceeds and all that are just being passed down and kept within the DAO.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. Especially, you never know when somebody is watching this and they're passionate about it and they're like, "Hey, I want to contribute." Right.
Yep.
Maybe we can get JR. Where's JR at? I think he does a good job. The Crypto Dad with Run Guys.
Yeah. I like Run Guys. Let me see. Joey, let's go with number 5. Number 5. I'm going to pose this in the form of a question. Have you seen evidence that people enjoy affiliating with projects with large and active communities on social media?
Oh, like retail people?
Yeah.
Or
us? Yes. Have you seen evidence?
Part of their identity sometimes, like I remember this one guy came into a group, and no offense to him or anything, but who knows who he was? He had a Southern accent, and he's like, "I'm part of the SHIB army." And I was like, "Holy shit!" It's like, damn, people like lose their identities, and in here, I don't know if they go to the grocery store, you know what I'm saying, and people are like, "What do you do for work?" "I'm part of the army." You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
It's all right. I'm not trying to make fun of him or anything, but yeah, that's your question. I think yes. I think people even go to the extent where they lose their sense of self.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna go into some weird philosophical stuff. I mean, I think a lot of these communities, right, provide a lot of needs. I think they meet a lot of needs for people, and so I think people do sort of take pride in that. So
yeah, I was going to say something to that effect. I don't know if we have a lot of people I would describe as kind of doing too much, but we do have a lot of people who are very prideful in being a part of what's being built here. And I think that some of that is contagious. Where's Mike?
Absolutely.
So,
It's
we can,
as contagious as being completely like dormant and inactive is harmful, right? So
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
So that, we can capitalize on that. I mean, sometimes it's fun, it's community building. And if in the interim it helps kind of prop up the DAO and generate revenue to be used against charts of our choosing, I think it's a win. And so
we can't do that. We can't do that. I mean, you could, somebody else could do that on their own accord. You know what I mean?
yes, that's yes, not directly you. Exactly. Yeah, I got it. Like, yeah. We need a workaround, but you're you and then I'm me. So like I've got a little bit more.
Do whatever you want.
I can do whatever I want. Right? So yeah. Here we go. So we mentioned before there would be some giveaways. We do some giveaways, and you and I have talked a little bit about what they would be, and I'm looking to withhold that for now because I want some of the other bigger benefits to be the reason why the community would get together and care anything about what it is that we're doing. Like, let's not be incentive heavy with regard to what an individual can receive, although there will be individual prizes, whether that be crypto, cash, or both. But let's get to a good subscriber count so that we can generate all the things that we just talked about. If you find any value in some of the things that we discussed in terms of growing the community, having an opportunity to bring in new people, to at least educate them as to what we're doing, maybe even bring in new investors, maybe even generate an income that maybe can go help against some project that we want to boost. All that starts with first kind of utilizing this platform that we're building that has content, that has access to many people who want to come on and do interviews and those kinds of things on here. Let's build it up the best we can so that as we move forward, we do have a platform that we can use to kind of grow with the DAO.
Yeah, I think that's totally cool. I think just run it by Deregister and see what he wants to do in terms of incentives or giveaways. I think that's totally cool. Like subscribe,
yep,
comment, share, like creating a whitelist, so to speak, a bit. I mean, if there's no community engagement, like for instance, for something like Jeep Fighter, you know what I mean? We'll just launch it adjacent somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And not have any whitelist. If people want to like hustle and be the whitelist and whatnot, or whatever it is, I think that they should put out a little bit instead of just sitting back and expecting things like people sort of do, right? So
yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think just ask Deregister and see what he comes up with.
We'll do exactly that. Do you have any updates that you want to provide? I know it's been maybe a different week for you, but we can.
Yeah, well, I think Mike and I have been strategizing, Stephen as well, on some of the projects for the Science DAO. I guess this could be like a short, other segment or something that you could use. Yeah, Mike, Stephen, and I, we've been strategizing and collaborating on some ideas for this next experiment that we're trying to run regarding methane reduction and like in an ag startup. I think what people don't realize, right, is like, especially on Twitter and a lot of the DeSci space right now, science can apply to so many different industries, right? And the thing with the DeSci space on Twitter and social media right now is everybody is like heavily like pharma focused. It seems like drug creation focused, whatever their in lab research. And there's an entire segment of industry that is sort of unnoticed, right, when it comes to science. Like cattle feed, for instance, is a $74 billion industry, right? And it's expected to grow by another $5 billion by 2027. Huge opportunity there. Land management, right? Carbon sequestration. You know, a lot of these other unnoticed industries are sort of not being fully celebrated inside the D space right now. We have an experiment that we want to run potentially alongside OSU and Davis, some big agricultural colleges, you know, to give some legitimacy to the experiments. And then I know Mike has been working on an invention to help measure methane, you know, coming out of a cow's belch, for instance. So there's a few things that we're doing. We're trying to support all the you know, not only the startups and the potential like enterprise, you know, endeavors that you might see in a startup, but also the research, you know, in the sciences, and not just with pharma, right? Not just pharma, not just with medicine creation or longevity research or whatever it is. I mean, there's some things that need to be addressed, you know, for food scarcity.
Yeah. Right.
Don't mean to laugh, but that's really what we've been kind of focusing on lately. And it should be kind of, personally, this is just a personal, you know, perspective. Like I think that just because we're different, right, than the other DSci projects, you know, you might have this lab and that lab and this lab, right? And the science style is probably a little bit different. We have some long storied participants in the spaces that they are participating in, but we're also trying to branch out and explore new options to solve issues, social issues, food issues, worldly issues, and that's really what we're trying to apply any type of scientific research to, right? And so it is slightly different. I do think that we'll need to find the best audience for it, you know, and it would be nice if the market would turn, you know, into a full positive outlook. So is what it is. Yeah. Was that too rambly?
No, Joey, is great, man. It's all the information we need. And I actually found it to be succinct and I've been thorough, so I appreciate that. Joey, I know that you have some things going on, and in terms of some schedules to keep, so I will cut it here today, and I look forward to talking to you next time.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks, bud. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Joey.